Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to AnTalk, the weekly comic conversation. So, The Defenders has been released on Netflix, the culmination of all the Marvel Netflix shows that started way back in 2014, Daredevil Season 1 and 2, the first season of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Me personally, I've really enjoyed these shows over the past couple of years. Daredevil is definitely the best, and like everyone, probably my favorite. I thought Jessica Jones was really good. I liked how you had a superpowered character, but that wasn't the focus. It was a drama I would recommend to anyone. And I really was a big fan of Luke Cage. I love what it brought to the overall world, even though the first half of the season is a whole lot better than the second half. And Iron Fist, easily and obviously the worst show of the bunch. Has a lot of issues, but it has some redeeming qualities. And at least we even have a live-action Iron Fist. But it all comes together now in the 8-episode series, The Defenders. The Defenders is actually a team of superheroes from Marvel Comics. And they are kind of like the Avengers, but they're made up of more B-level or more street-level characters slash heroes. And especially in the live-action version, they pretty much stick to protecting their home neighborhoods in New York. So how did I feel about Netflix's, Marvel's, The Defenders? Overall, I really liked it a lot, and I loved seeing these characters come together, and thought it was really well done for the most part. The Defenders is not flawless, and although it was really good, especially in the opinion of this viewer, but it didn't really reach that level of greatness a lot of us had hoped for. But overall, I really did enjoy it, and there's a lot to love about it. Without getting into big spoilers here, I am going to go over the series as a whole, but I won't explain the end until I get to the end in the spoilers part. So no spoilers until the end of the video. I'll let you know. Oh, and spoilers for all the seasons of these individual characters before The Defenders. So that's Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. Little bit of backstory. If you've seen Daredevil and Iron Fist, you know that the Hand is a problem. An ancient organization that works out of the shadows. They have something big in the works, and all their top dogs are coming together, led by Sigourney Weaver's character, Alexandra. Meanwhile, our main heroes are dealing with their own individual lives, and through their own storylines, they start to slowly get involved. I thought the first 4 episodes were amazing, and the setup and the intro was really well done. These shows have taken place over the past 3-4 years, so if you haven't watched Jessica Jones since 2015, it was nice to get caught up with all the characters in their individual worlds, and jumping around between the 4 main characters plus the villains. It didn't feel slow or boring, and it didn't really seem like it wasted many scenes. I was engaged the whole time, and they don't spend the whole series trying to get these characters together. The Hand has a big plan that they are starting to move forward with, and each of their storylines starts to get slowly intertwined as they stumble upon what's going on in their own ways. But it's only in the first few episodes, and when you catch on to what's going on and you see what's happening, and when you can see that they're all about to come together at the same time, it's really cool. And really one of my favorite parts of the whole season is when they all come together for the first time. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And once they are together, the chemistry and interactions between the entire group, or even just 2 or 3 of them, is the best thing about the show. It was really cool seeing how their personalities and where they're at in life come into play. Jessica's the smart mouth, as you'd expect. At first, she's reluctant to get involved. She just wants to solve her case on her own. Luke, he isn't too into the team-up thing, but he realizes the big picture in that the Hand isn't just a threat to Harlem, but to everyone in New York. So he's down pretty quick, and he really is the moral compass of the group. Danny, he's all about the team-up because this is his whole goal. He's still naive and narrow-minded in his mission, but he realizes what all of them are capable of. So he's all about them teaming up to take down the Hand. And Daredevil has a lot on his mind after quitting being Daredevil at the end of Season 2, but lately he's been itching to don the horns again. But because of a deep personal connection to what the Hand is up to, and I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but it's not really. You see it in the trailers, and it's kind of hard to talk about this series without mentioning that Elektra has come back from the dead. Since Season 2, she died. Daredevil's late ally and love. She's been brought back by Alexandra to be the Hand's secret weapon, the Black Sky. So she's pretty much brainwashed, super enhanced, and a badass, and working for the Hand. So obviously Daredevil wants to get involved, but he wants to do it on his own. Again, the best part of this show to me is seeing these characters come together and interact. When they're at the Chinese restaurant, that's one of my favorite scenes slash episodes of the whole thing. Whether or not you like all their individual series, they have been well done enough and laid down enough groundwork, and you've come to know these characters on their own to make you care and interested in what's happening. Seeing them finally team up is awesome. And that's what happens when great, awesome characters are built up. You become fans of them, you care what they're doing. When they all come together in this epic climax, it adds so much to what you're watching. Great anime like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood have done this, the Marvel movies, and even now recently Game of Thrones is doing a great job of that. And The Defenders is no different when it comes to the culminating of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. And just from a nerd standpoint, just seeing these five big Marvel comic book characters on screen together in a well done live action is a dream come true. So most of the setup, first awesome action scene, and getting them together on the same page is in the first 4 episodes. And if I would have stopped after episode 5, I would have said this series is off the charts. But as a whole, I don't really think it reached that in those final episodes. It was still good, and I really liked it, but it seemed to peak a little too early, and it seemed a little anticlimactic in a couple ways. I'd say after 6.5 episodes, it started to plane off, and by the end it felt like a really fun roller coaster, but could have used one more big drop. I think that the main villain, Alexandra, so wonderfully played by Sigourney Weaver, was built up well, but didn't have the payoff, which I can get more into later. The ending, or climax, although it had a couple awesome fight scenes, it didn't feel as epic or even as big a deal as it had been built up to be. Like, that's a tough one. I realize it's basically a TV series and it doesn't have, the budget the big movies have, but it just, something about it seemed a little underwhelming to me. I loved watching them fight, believe me, but I guess you could say that the situation felt a lot more confined, and I didn't really get a sense that the entire city was at stake. But I still have to say there's something good, something cool in every single one of the episodes of this season. So I still give it a lot of credit, and I think that the future of the shows going forward looks bright, and I think it shows that this whole universe can be expanded as well as being more connected going forward. All the performances I thought were pretty good. As I said before, Jessica Jones, played by Kristen Ritter, is great. She nails this role. She's the smartass, has the attitude, but she's also really smart. Her and Matt Murdock are probably the 2 smartest in the group, and she ought to be, seeing how she's an investigator. And I find something very relatable in the fact that deep down, she really wants to help because she really does care. But she's not super into the sentimental part or the, showing a lot of affection for anyone. And I like that a lot, actually. Daredevil, or Matt Murdock, played by Charlie Cox, is always good in this role. He's been a great Daredevil since season 1, and anytime he's on screen, in costume, or in tie, you are totally engaged because he's that cool. Luke Cage, played by Mike Coulter, as I said, the moral compass. This dude is a perfect role model in pretty much every way. And I think that could get annoying if it was somebody else. If someone's too good. But see, Luke Cage is just too cool to where you can't help but think his whole outlook is cool. And Mike Coulter does a really good job displaying that. It's really hard to pick a favorite. When they're all together, they kind of take turns being my favorite. Those 3. Iron Fist, Finn Jones, who plays Danny Rand. Personally, I think he's drastically improved in this season compared to his solo show, Iron Fist. He's not as whiny, he has better writers behind him, and he's had more time to work on the fight choreography. But he's still not all the way there. It's not like a complete 180, I'd say more like a 120, 130 degree change for the better. He's not as whiny, but he can still be dumb and narrow-minded and a little naive. But the other characters call him out on that a lot, so it kind of makes it a joke. But really, Iron Fist is the only one of the 4 that is significant to the plot because the Hand wants him. And just the kind of mythology that gets built around his character because of that, I think helps. But what really seems to help Danny Rand in this series is interacting with the other characters. especially Luke Cage. They really bring the best out of Danny, and a lot of his best moments are just talking to Luke. And I think that was one of the most important things for this series to nail. Establish a good connection between Danny and Luke, and I think that was actually really well done. And they need to get going on that Heroes for Hire quick, or it'll be a missed opportunity. They are one of the coolest duos in comics, and they need to get on that because it works. Elektra is pretty much a villain the whole season. She doesn't remember her past life right away, so she's being used as a weapon, the Black Sky, and through the methods Alexandra used to bring her back to life, not only is she a skilled killer, but now she's enhanced physically and is stronger and faster than ever, and she really is a threat to all of them. And she does a really good job playing the part. Some of the fight scenes with her are the best fight scenes in the whole show. And I really do like the connection between her and Daredevil and how it affects her character over the course of the season. Oh, and her suit is awesome. Then you have Alexandra, played by Sigourney Weaver. I really like her character and how she was portrayed. So classy, always dressed up in expensive outfits. Every time you see her, she's doing something elegant or sophisticated, watching a violin performance, eating at a classy restaurant, and they really build her up to be a badass. The way the other members of the Hand, like Madame Gao, are intimidated by her. But like I said, the payoff just wasn't there, and that's a shame because I think the overall climax could have been a lot better. Stick is back. He's a great character. He knows a lot more than all of them about the situation, so he's pretty much trying to get them ready for what's coming. But at the same time, he isn't necessarily the good guy of good guys. So his methods, he's someone that our heroes can butt heads with from time to time. A lot of the side characters from the individual series show up, and it makes a lot of sense early on in the season, but as the show gets going, these characters don't have much to do. And they're really kind of just there to be there. Like Karen Page and Foggy Nelson from Daredevil, Trish and Malcolm from Jessica Jones, and the only ones that have a real role in this, and good ones at that, are Colleen Wing, Misty Knight, and of course Claire Temple, played by Rosario Dawson, who is in every one of these Netflix shows. Sort of the connection between them all, but she does take a bit of a backseat here, but not in a bad way. Her involvement still makes sense for the most part, and they don't overuse her either. Colleen, she may as well be one of the Defenders. She's always good. She's Danny's partner in all this and has a long history with the Hand and one of its members. And the girl can get down with a blade. Misty Knight pretty much represents the law, which I think you need. She gets on my nerves a lot because she's on this side of the law and she's kind of getting in the way a lot. But when she does come through for the Defenders, I like her a lot. And the actress always does a good job portraying her as well. And the fight scenes. Mostly, I really like the big fight scenes, especially when they're all involved together. There's some really good ones, some really good shots, moments. Some of it's really well done. Some of it's not as well done as other parts, and it feels a little TV. But overall, it's awesome seeing these guys finally fight together and team up. When Luke Cage and Iron Fist fight together for the first time, it's awesome. And seeing their different skill sets and powers all displayed on screen together is really cool to see as well. And it's pretty violent as well. You will see some people lose parts of their body, that's for sure. So overall, I really did like the Defenders. I really enjoyed it. I thought a lot of the fight scenes and action scenes were amazing. Like I said, the best thing about the series is the characters, especially the main core characters, the interactions, the teaming up, all that. It was all amazing. It has a really great build-up, and every episode has a handful of awesome things that happen in it, but it did peak a little early for me and didn't have the climax I felt it needed to be great. But it was still good, and I think the good outweighs the bad by a lot. I'm just happy we actually have a good live-action Defenders with all these comic book characters brought to life, and I think a lot of what happened in this series shows what can be taken away from it and applied in the future. Whether it be expanding characters, heroes, villains, while being more connected, like doing Heroes for Hire. Anyways, Netflix's Marvel's The Defenders is pretty damn cool. But decide for yourself and let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. I'm about to get into spoilers, so if you're about to leave now, thanks for watching and don't forget to hit that thumbs up. So, spoilers from here on out. The Defenders. So quickly, key plot points or things that stuck out to me about The Defenders. So one of the biggest things kind of starting towards the end, when Alexandra gets killed by Elektra. I thought, though this may have been a surprise, I just don't think it was good timing or the right move to make. They did such a good job building her up to be something to fear without letting you know too much. And I feel like that kind of got wasted when they just kill her off. I would have liked if we could have seen what she really can do, and maybe if she could have gave the Defenders a problem along with the remaining heads of the 5 fingers of the hand, but they didn't, and they have Elektra kill her in episode 6. And Elektra doesn't even come back to being a good guy. She stays with the hand and basically takes over it, with pretty much the same goal, which is to get that serum which is behind that wall that they can't get through. That's why they need Danny, because only the Iron Fist can break the wall. Otherwise, the hand was willing to bring down the whole city to get in there. And like I said, the end just seemed anticlimactic because it didn't come down to destroying the city. It came down to a basement fight between Elektra and the Hand against the Defenders. Now, don't get me wrong. I really did like this fight scene a lot. It had some really cool moments. It just didn't feel like it was that epic. Then there's just little things you can nitpick at, like they can't really decide how strong Jessica Jones is sometimes. She's supposedly really strong, shown when she held the elevator after the cable broke. But sometimes in a fight, some random guy can just push her down. She should have basically no problem taking on a few guys at once. So I think that's a little weird sometimes, but not really the biggest deal in the world. Misty Knight loses her arm towards the end. I gasped because I have been waiting on this sort of. In the comics, she also loses her arm and it gets replaced with a bionic arm. And obviously that's going to happen, especially when Colleen tells her that Danny has connects at the hospital that she's at. Also, we see Matt Murdock die, but not really. He wakes up in a Catholic hospital bed of some sorts with nuns, and one of them says to go get Maggie. This is definitely setting up season 3 of Daredevil, but it could be going off a specific comic book which involves Matt Murdock's mother, who is also a nun. So put that together. Meanwhile, everyone thinks he is dead, and the last thing Daredevil said to Iron Fist was to protect his city, which you see Finn Jones in a green jumpsuit on top of a roof in Hell's Kitchen at the end of the final episode. And I think it would be awesome if Daredevil Season 3 kind of started with like a B storyline of Danny Rand as Daredevil, which happens in the comics when Matt Murdock goes to jail and wants to keep the appearance that Daredevil is still out there. So that would be cool to see. And then from there, Danny could go to Luke Cage Season 2, set up Heroes for Hire, and then maybe in Iron Fist Season 2, he can deal with going back to Kunlun and finally see that place and even see the cool parts of Danny's origin. But I doubt it'll go just like that. Oh, and do you know who's not in this season? The Punisher. So don't even get your hopes up. I know it seems like that would suck if you haven't seen the show, but if you have, you really don't know where you would have put him in at anyway. So it is what it is, and we're getting his Season 1 this November, so I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of awesome stuff that happens over the course of 8 episodes, so I know I'm missing stuff. If there's anything specific that you wanted me to cover, then let me know about it in the comments below. But these are the things that stuck out to me. So now you've seen my full review of Marvel's The Defenders on Netflix. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Let me know who's your favorite Defender. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like this video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Hey guys, did you like this video? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, click right here on this icon to become a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, don't forget to ring that bell so you can stay updated with all my videos. And if you want to see another video just like this one, click right here. And as always, thanks for watching AnTalk, the weekly comic conversation.